Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Twenties Detox. Today I'm joined with one of my really good friends who we've met online. Actually never met in person, but if you remember on the episode that I talk about how to make friends when you're in your 20s or just as an adult, and I told all of you guys to make a peace list of the people who bring you the most amount of peace. And those people should be the people who take up the most amount of your time. And she's definitely on that list of those 5 people. And I'm so excited for you guys to meet her today because she is just such an inspiration in so many ways, has really inspired me to take action, but also value the importance of play and just honoring the parts of myself that need rest and just to be, essentially, and not to always think of the next thing I got to work on, how to serve capitalism. And I just think our conversation of our experience of hustle culture and how we've faced the burn of what it can really do to us and just talk about how it doesn't need to be the only thing right now. I think you're really going to enjoy it. So because she and I, we just keep talking about great stuff. But I understand you guys. I know you. I don't want to have a full hour-long episode up because it's just too much to take in. So I'm going to post it in 2 separate parts. This week, it's just going to be of our experience and what hustle culture really is. And next week, it is about the importance of play and how to get out of that toxic mindset of what hustle culture really is. I hope that you enjoy it, and we'll just get into it today. Here is Hannah Stomski. I'm thinking about the first time when we spoke on FaceTime, or what was it, Zoom? I was so nervous because you were the first person that reached out to me when I started sharing information online. Well, on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
We found each other on TikTok first. I saw one of
Yes.
your TikTok videos and I was like, this girl's dope. I like her videos.
I don't know who found who first.
I don't know.
But
I
as
think it was
soon
at
as
the,
I
I
saw
think it was
your content,
yeah, it was at the same time. I think it was I saw your content. I really loved it. And you also were like, I really like your content. It looks cool.
yes.
Do you want to chat? And I remember telling my sister, I was like, I think I might have just made an internet friend. So long
I was
story
so
short.
afraid you were gonna think that I was gonna try to sell you into some pyramid scheme. I was like, does this girl want to talk to me, or does she think that I'm just hey, got 15 minutes to chat? Let's just.
Oh yeah. Well, we did connect right away on hustle culture and burnout. That was what
Yes.
we were I don't know
Same
anybody else who
wavelength.
has same wavelength. Here we are. I don't even know how much, over a year later.
It has been. We've known each other for a full year.
A year and a half now.
Are we ever gonna meet in person?
We're going to. I literally was
to.
I was going on a walk before we got on here and I was like, you know what if I just fly to Texas?
I've had that thought before. I'm like, maybe take a trip to Canada. Go see Bianca.
We're gonna see each other. I know it's gonna happen.
It's gotta happen at some point. I feel like I know you in person. You just feel like this old, I've known you forever.
Same with you.
It's so wild.
Do you want to talk about yourself now?
Yes. I'm
Okay.
trying so hard not to introduce myself in the way of this is what I do for work now. So
Nice.
I'm Hannah. I'm a big old creative. I am a musician under the name Sprig. I am a writer. And then what's really important to me, just in the way that I connect with people, is finding shared values in play and fun and joy. And also sustainable productivity and just being an advocate for the anti-hustle culture lifestyle, if that makes sense.
Yes. Makes perfect sense. I felt like I could have done it, but I also wanted you to do it because I think that if I introduce somebody, it's based off of my perceptions and like we're constantly changing. Especially you and I always connect about that, how we're like multi-passionate people and our interests very much change all the time and we lose our sense of identity in some things. So we
Yes.
change. And I'm like, I don't really want to explain Hannah from who I spoke to like a month and a half ago. Like I want Hannah to speak from
Yes.
today.
You just said such an important thing that I think we connect on so well, and that's being multi-passionate or that like multi-potentialite. It's like at
Mm-hmm.
any given time, you and I are like trying different things. Like sometimes we're writers, we're like artists, we're creatives, like musicians. We just are always dabbling in different things and like following our curiosity. That's
Yeah.
such a good way to introduce ourselves.
Through the times that we have spoken to one another, it's like the morals and values are still there, but it's shifted in like what you've been interested in. Mainly, I just wanted you to explain like, what are you interested in right now?
I think it's so tough. It's like I just want to say I am so many things
Right?
and that be enough. And really at the heart of it, I care so much about just slow self-care, slow sustainable productivity because I do like to work. Like I love projects. You and I connect on this all the time. Like we're always trying to do a project or figure out like what's that next thing that we're going to be playing around with or learning or curious about. So like I love to work, but it's about finding a really good balance that I'm super passionate about trying to instill in other people. Like it doesn't have to be this like grind and hustle. Like you can have fun and you can play and feel joy and follow curiosities and just like kind of feel like a kid while you're doing work. So I think that's what's so important to me is just being like the embodiment of like play and joy and fun while doing creative pursuits.
Absolutely. And you're doing a really good job with it, to
Thank
be
you.
honest, because I think that a lot of people that I know don't even understand there's an issue in it yet. You know,
Yes.
they don't understand. They're like, but this is the only way that we're going to be successful. This is the only way that our generation is going to be able to make money because millennials and Gen Zs are in a very tough spot compared to other generations in order to be like financially successful. And I feel like there's this misconception that the only way that we can be financially stable that we need to like grind constantly and that's the only way to survive. When I follow people like you and others that explain like that's not, we shouldn't, what is that saying, like we shouldn't live to work, we should work to live, kind of thing. And too many people are just living their life in order to just like work and make money, and I don't want to do
Yes.
that.
Me neither.
It's so
Life is
okay.
too short to feel
it
that.
it's way too short. Okay, so do you have a definition for hustle culture?
So here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like I'm an expert in any way, shape, or form on hustle culture, but I do feel like I dabbled in it enough to feel burned by it.
Mm.
So I have my own definition just on my experience, but I just want to make a disclaimer. Like, I am not an expert in hustle culture or capitalism or anything like this. But to me, hustle culture is genuinely like a lifestyle that is driven by like capitalism and it's putting productivity and work achievements above all else to a detriment of like your mental health, your emotional health, your physical health. Because when you're in the hustle culture, everything you do, it's like rise and grind. You get up at 6 in the morning, you have your super strict routine, you're networking, you're putting in 10, 12 hours at work, you're not sleeping, you're not eating, and everything is measured by your achievement. Like your self worth is measured by your achievements.
I know that you wanted to say I'm not like an expert in it. I like to say that everyone's always going to be a student. Like nobody's going to be an expert. We're learning based, all experts learn somewhere and they are probably still learning from other things. Like that was either their research and their experience, which is basically what you're doing, just like not at the same level. Because to me, you are the teacher in this. I'm the student.
I've sat and thought about hustle culture for a very long time because when I was waking up to what I was swimming in, I was so confused. I don't even know where I heard the term hustle culture. It just at some point became a part of my vernacular. I don't know if I was working with a coach at the time and they had that language, but once I understood why I was caught up in this cycle and this pattern and the insecurities that it was preying on, it was a light bulb moment. And then I couldn't unsee it. Then I saw how deeply that web was rooted in my life. And it made me question, why am I doing the things that I'm doing? Like, why am I doing this project? Why am I in this job? Why am I surrounded by these people? Like, why am I investing in these relationships? And a lot of it for a period of time came back to it's all tying up in this feeling like my worth is what I'm producing. It's my achievements, it's who I'm connected to. It's how quickly I can climb up the ladder or impress someone or bring impressive people into my circle. And when you start pulling on those threads and asking yourself, well, does this actually make me happy? Does this bring me joy? Does this give me energy? It starts to crumble a little bit because you realize that it's not full. It's just like hollow. It's just,
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I get it. It's like what you're working for is literally not what true fulfillment is. That's when I also had the bulb moment. I was like, I'm never going to be satisfied, not at any point, because what I found is everything that I was doing was only serving the ego, and the ego is always hungry. It's never, ever, ever satisfied, because once you achieve something, you have that dopamine and then it plummets because you got it. And it's like, what's next though? Dopamine doesn't last or continue to increase, and you get that like good feeling when you complete something. Yeah, it lasts for like a couple seconds. And you're like, okay, what's next on the list? On the task list. And I think that I became addicted to that, and so young realized that I was getting praise and attention from my family for being somebody that could work that hard, study that hard, get all these tasks done, that also became this weird cycle and addicting. Checking that thing off the list, but also having everybody else saying, "Oh my God, you're doing so good." And it was so hard for me to like finally understand this light bulb moment that this cycle is so, like you said, hollow and just not fulfilling in the sense that brings you true peace and enjoyment. It's the trap that capitalism has kind of taught us since like grade school so that we would be really good workers on a 9 to 5 job.
So, what was your experience with hustle culture? Like, where did that show up for you?
So for me, I think that I've experienced hustle culture since I was like a little kid. And I think it's because since my parents are self-employed and my mom's dad was also self-employed and so was my dad's dad, that I've kind of seen what it's like to have a lack of a work-life balance because sometimes work comes home and it's at the dinner table and it's on weekends. And there were many years where they had to work really, really hard because, as my mom describes it, you're either like thriving or you're starving. Like there's no in between. You're not getting a regular paycheck. You're not getting paid by the hour. You get paid on how much you make that year at the end of the year. And so some years weren't as good and some years were great. But I think because of that, you don't get that constant, how do you say, like reward of money, getting money per hour, that it was kind of instilled in me to constantly keep working because you never know. You just never know what's going to happen. And that was shown in and taught by my parents in just school, like math class. And I would do like math in the summertime. And it really was full throttle university because my parents put money into this so that I could go to school. I have to work really hard for this because it's not like money grows on trees. I also felt that, like I said before, when I got a lot of recognition from not only my parents, but other people in my life and my teachers that were like, "Oh my gosh, you get these grades in school and you get like over an 80% or you get I remember the 4th grade or something you get numbers, you get like 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know how you are set up. And then eventually I went to percentage of how you get graded on a certain assignment or something, but there is so much competition in that, and then also praise at home for getting like a 4 or getting over an 80% on an assignment, that being so young and getting that validation, I tied quite literally almost all of my worth into that. And then it just like totally took over when it was in university, and I was in forensic science, and the program was really really intense. It should really be spread out in like 5 years, because in my second year, I think I had 9 classes, 5 classes, and 4 labs. So it was, you
That's
just
so
are not
much.
eating, you're not sleeping, you're just constantly working. You have so many assignments. And I was blind to it because who are you surrounded by? Everybody else is going through the same thing. So you're like, this is normal. And this is just
Yes.
what you're supposed to do. And then I got really, really, really sick in the end of my 3rd year. And that was also around, uh, I don't know. Yeah, the pandemic hit. I'm trying to like go back in time. The pandemic hit. So I not only got sick, I probably got COVID, not gonna lie. Like I probably got like the first round of COVID. Um, and I was like, I cannot do this. Like I am making myself so unwell. My immune system was like had never been worse at that time. I dropped so much weight, and I really started to rethink when my body started not working very well anymore, of like, what am I doing this for? Like I I just basically made a promise to myself to always get enough sleep. I still to this day, I think, because I hit such a major low burnout. I hit like the worst burnout that I ever did in my life, that I was like, I'm never going to do that to myself again, because I don't want to get sick. I don't want to get too sick like I did back then. And I think before I came to this realization, I had like 3 hours of sleep a night, 3 to 4 hours, because I was studying so much, thinking that's normal because I just
Mm-hmm.
had that hard of a program. And then I realized like this is inhumane. I'm not giving myself enough rest. But yeah, it's a combination, mainly like that. And also, there's still the pressure I have to this day of the fact that my grandfather worked so hard and my parents worked so hard. And who am I to make this decision to not work as hard as them? Because there's just this generational wealth that was passing down from generation to generation. Like there's that I still struggle with now, because I feel like a part of them expect that since they work so hard and they sacrifice their time, that somehow gets plopped onto the next generation to also fulfill that. And I want to break that. Like, I definitely know with my children one day, like, they can do whatever the fuck they want. So, yeah, there's a lot of things. And I think, like you said, I don't know when the time was when I heard the word hustle culture and everything clicked. I think it was in fragments. I think it was like me realizing I'm not getting enough sleep, me burning out, pandemic hitting, realizing we're slowing down. And like, is this how we should be living? Everything, I think everyone collectively was like, oh my gosh, it's so much slower now. And
Mm.
why does this feel uncomfortable? And that was the question we needed to ask ourselves. Why is it when we slow down, this feels uncomfortable?
That's so good. So for you, like hustle culture was just embodied in your family. And that's just like the way that you were raised. And then you hit college and you just ramped that up times 10 to the point
Yeah.
of complete burnout. And rest is the first thing to go when you're so deep in like hustle culture and like grinding all the time. You lose all your sleep. Like we just completely deprioritize our mental health and our sleep. And we're like, we use phrases like, oh, sleep when you're dead and things like that that just perpetuate, oh, well, I shouldn't be resting. Or if I need to rest, like I'm stronger than that. I don't need to rest, which is just backwards.
So backwards. I mean, like it's a basic need. That's the messed up part. Is like we're throwing out our basic needs in order to serve capitalism.
8 hours. Go to bed. Take a little nap.
For real. Now I have no guilt sleeping in. I'm so happy that I can say now that I can sleep in and not feel like an immense amount of guilt for doing that. Before, if I didn't have like bam, 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 like these tasks done by noon, I was like, this day was a waste. I suck. Might as well just start tomorrow or stay up late, pull an all-nighter. Oh my God, the amount of times that I heard, I'm just going to pull an all-nighter. Like, dude, it's not that important.
Truly. For me, I love my mornings. Like I love to wake up early and like have tea and like listen to the birds. I like to go to bed early. I'm like, I want to be in bed 9:30, 10, reading a book, like winding down. But when I was deep in it, I was up until like 11, 12 doing God knows what. Like it would be 7 p.m. I would have finished dinner and I'd be thinking, well, what else should I be doing right now? I can't just go to bed. I can't just watch Netflix. I can't do something that's just power down. It's like I've got 4 or 5 hours that I can maximize something. Like who can I connect with? What projects can I start? What did I not finish? So now for me, I'm like, wake up early, enjoy my morning. Maybe I have a little routine. I'm all for that, but I'm going to go to bed early and I'm not going to feel guilty about ending my day at an appropriate time. And when 5 o'clock hits, I used to just feel, and I part of it was just the people I surrounded myself with. But like 5 o'clock for most people, it's like, all right, I'm off work. I'm done. I can close my laptop. I can remove myself. But I work remote. And I used to be surrounded by a lot of people who were like self-employed and entrepreneurs. And 5 o'clock didn't mean anything to them. It was like maybe they might break at 7 p.m. And so then I just became caught up in that, you know? So
Yeah.
it's really nice to just be like, I'm not buying into that anymore. If I want to rest, whether it's I want to sleep in or I want to go to bed early, that's totally okay.
Yeah. Not everything has to be for your productivity. You can just be to like live
Yes.
and
3 hours
observe.
in the day don't always have to be filled. They can just
Honest,
be to
yeah.
sit and stare outside if you want.
That's what I was just going to say. I feel like sometimes it clicks in and I can recenter myself when I start to understand like I'm literally only put on this planet to observe what it is to experience things in a human way, like to feel all the senses and to see all of it. And I'm getting so immersed in like one part of it. I know we have spoken about the untethered soul. I read a little bit this morning. I'm trying to read a little bit every day to kind of remind myself of it. But it's like your consciousness just gets so immersed in this one thing, it forgets about the rest of it. So it's just like so limited. It's not able to experience everything, not able to really feel fulfilled because you're forgetting about everything else. You're forgetting about like the fact that we're here to just live in the present moment, but you're not. You're in your head. Like you're sitting, you're eating dinner, but you're like, okay, what am I going to do tomorrow? What are my tasks to do for tonight?
Truly. Do you
You're
even
not,
experience like any of like the five senses when all you think about is work every single day? You wake up, you're on a computer, you're responding to emails, you're listening to a podcast, all day is work. Then you finish your evening with work. It's like, what did you experience today? Did you smell any like smells outside? Like, did you touch anything? So like, how are you actually experiencing life in a
period.
tangible way?
Mm-hmm.
Truly.
Yeah, I know. That's what, so I already went on my story of like, when I got into hustle culture, what was your major influence for that as well? Like how did you get into the trap of it?
Yeah, I think hustle culture and adulthood played on insecurities that I had from childhood. So when I was in college, I don't know when I flipped a switch. Like I used to not really care too much about grades. I didn't really care about going to college. And then I started seeing my peers start caring about college. And then all of a sudden, I just had this wave overcome me of I'm falling behind. I am behind all of my peers. I had a lot of family problems. I lost my dad when I was in college, and I just had this like turbo mentality of I'm not taking a break from college. I'm going to barrel through my grief. I'm going to go all in on my studies. I'm going to get a good job before like anybody else. My whole last semester of my senior year, I probably could have let my grades completely tank because I was so focused on like the real world, right? And I'm saying that in air quotes.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was applying to like hundreds of jobs. I was like, I don't care about these grades. I don't care about like mock interviews. Like I want the real stuff. I want to get in a job and I want to be impressive, right? Like I wanted to like make up for lost time.
Mm-hmm.
When I got my first job, it was a startup. Naturally, startups mentality are you're hustling, you're grinding, you're working towards like a shared mission and you're being really scrappy because there's not a whole lot of money, not a whole lot of resources involved, but there's this shared mission that everyone's sort of rallying around. And you feel like you're kind of like part of this community and like part of a movement as a part of a startup. And so I was not raised in a way that was very, like, my parents were not business people. Like, my dad was a landscaper, my mom worked in retail. There was never this like pie in the sky mentality, like, shoot for the stars, you're going to be a millionaire ever. It was just like you kind of take whatever opportunity comes your way and like you find gratitude in it, and then that's it, you know? But I started being so dazzled by the leaders of this company and the people they talk about and like conferences they would go to. And I just felt like I almost joined this insiders club. I just felt like I tapped into something that I never had access to before. And so I let myself be really influenced by leaders and coaches and mentors starting from that first job that I had. So I just followed that thread. It was like, find yourself a mentor, go to these conferences, like always be trying to climb up the ladder. The ultimate goal is to get in early at a startup and then like become leadership, or it's become an entrepreneur and grow really fast. I didn't even take a moment to think, is that actually what I really want? It was just new and shiny, and there was the thought of money that had never crossed my mind before. And there was, it just played on a lot of those probably childhood insecurities of this is where you're going to find your worth is through being a leader at a company, through growing something, through making six figures. Like there were all of these words that were like buzzing around that everybody else wanted. And because I felt like I was like part of something, I just got swept up into it and was like, that's what I want to. And I was
Mm-hmm.
always looking for those opportunities. So I tried becoming like a life coach and I was trying to make extra forms of income and I was going to all these conferences and everything. And at the time, I think I enjoyed it, but it got to a point where I actually was like, I'm exhausted. The people around me are burning themselves into the ground and I can't keep up with them. And I don't know how they're continuing to do this because my soul was so tired.
Yeah.
Maybe they had a little bit more stamina, but the people around me were putting in like 12 hours of work and there was no time to rest. And they had just the self-talk around sitting down to rest or taking a day off. It just killed my soul. It made me so sad. And
Yeah.
that's when I started looking into understanding like the psychology and science of play in adulthood because I was literally ignoring every indication that my body and my soul was giving me that like I needed to take a break and I needed to just have fun. Forget work. I was just ignoring it. And then once I started researching play, I was like, I'm going to teach people about play. Like, I'm going to try to be a play advocate because this is so important. But I was completely robbing myself of the opportunity to play because I was still trying to work 12 hours because I thought that's what I was supposed to do. All said and done, now obviously you see where I am. I just am like, forget the 12-hour work. Let's just play. Like, let's just do, I don't want to say do the bare minimum, but get your work done, and then like inject play throughout your day And that is enough. You don't
Yeah,
have to be more than that. Like, have
exactly.
fun, enjoy your life, don't work yourself into the ground because at some point, we're not going to be here. Our life, we have
Exactly.
literally no idea how long we're going to be here for.
I know. One thing that resonated with me the most, and I think you shared this on your story or something that also made me be like, damn, that's so true. And it's like, play to just play. Don't play to be productive. Don't play so that you can maybe show how you've played to other people. Like, just play to play. I have no
Literally,
goal.
yes. And that is hustle culture to me,
Yeah.
is you might know that you need to play. You might know that you need to rest. You might know that you need to have family time, but everything that you do is to enhance how productive you are at work. There's
Yes.
all of these, like, here's 7 hacks for like boosting productivity. Like, here's why rest is so good for like your work. It's like, just rest because it is your literal God-given human right. Go play because you simply can. Like, it doesn't have to have an end goal.
All right, guys, so that sums up this week's episode talking about hustle culture experience. I hope that gave you a little bit of a teaser for next week about what we're going to go into of the importance of play, the feminine economy, and just honoring a slower lifestyle while having a good balance between work and play, essentially. So stay tuned for that. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you next week. Okay? Bye.